Hey guys, it's Misty with My Paper Cuts, and today I am super excited to be part of a new collaboration hosted by the wonderful Sabrina K, the Country Crafter, here on YouTube, and 30 artists have committed to doing this collaboration, which I think is fantastic. 30 people have agreed for the month of November to create these projects and share what we create out of our stash only. We are not going out and buying anything to do any of these projects. We are to use only what we have at home. So I'm going to be taking a deep dive into my stash and creating a bunch of projects. Because there are 30 artists doing this collaboration, I decided to only share one of the themes with y'all here on YouTube, just because I don't want to bore you to death. I may share some of the other projects as I do them. It just won't be under this collaboration. I just want to keep it a little more simple for everyone's sanity. So for this collaboration, I am actually going to be creating projects using this authentic paper pad that I picked up at Tuesday Morning back in 2018. So it's been around for a while. It's called Bountiful. I've always loved this one because it's got the touches of teals in it instead of just oranges and reds, although red is my favorite color and I love warm colors. I do like this little pop of teal that's in here. So this is just the cover because I've torn apart all the paper to begin using it. So the first card I created was actually very simple. And when I create cards, you guys, I actually, once I design the layout of the card that I want to use, I actually do however many cards I will get out of that piece of paper once I cut into it. So for instance, if I'm using the background, the entire background is part of the pattern paper, I'm obviously using a 4 by 5.5 inch piece of paper, and you can get 6 of those out of one 12 by 12 sheets. So I will create 6 identical cards. For this one, actually, I did save some of the pieces because there are only 24 sheets in this collection. I decided I would only do 4 out of each sheet because I wanted to have a little bit of each of the patterns left over just in case I wanted to use them for my other projects. If I still have them left at the end of the collaboration, I will do these cards again so that I use up those pieces because I'm determined to just use it all up. So the first card here is actually created with the wood grain paper, and it is just a very simple dark wood grain pattern paper. And on the sides of this center panel here, there is some gold foil strips. I did just use the strips. When I get specialty paper like that, I like to use just a little bit. I won't layer this whole piece with that. I will just do the strips along the sides. That way I preserve it because I use this kind of stuff all the time. So, and then on this watercolor paper in the center here, which is Tim Holtz watercolor paper because it's brighter white, I just did some puddles of color with my Zig real brush markers and watercolored in some fall colors, just kind of creating a little bit of a messy background there. And then I heat embossed this leaf stamp, which is from Simon Says Stamp. I heat embossed it in gold, and then I used the same colors to just fill it in randomly. I wanted it to be more watercolory than precise, but the embossing there, it actually kind of creates little wells so that the color doesn't spread out so much, so you can still get this kind of fractal effect with that, which I was pretty happy with. So each card looks completely different. And then I heat embossed on, I die cut this with a circle and then layered it with another die cut with chocolate cardstock, which is the same as the base is made out of here. And then I heat embossed in white the I am so for you. And then this grateful word die here, I did cut it out, but then I heat embossed the word with the same gold as the leaf there so that it would all tie together nicely. So that is my first card. That's the front. And here's the inside. I used the other leaves in the stamp set and this little heart, which was from another stamp set. And I just stamped them on the background, and then I used one of my inside card sentiments. And it reads, "Words are not enough to express my gratitude for you. I thank you from the bottom of my heart for all that you have done for me and for making me feel so special." I just thought that message was a nice one. to have in a card that you could use as a hostess gift, or for anyone that you're reminded, especially at this time of year, that you are truly grateful for. Everybody has an impact on everyone's life, so it's just a nice reminder to hear it sometimes. So that was my first card, and I did create 6 of that one. And then the next 2 cards that I did are both they're exactly the same, it's just I used a little bit different supplies in each one. So for this one, I actually used this pattern paper, which is the stripe from the collection. I layered this specialty paper that is from Tonic, and it's called Copper Basket. It's obviously a basket weave, and it's in a wonderful copper color. And then underneath here is some self-adhesive burlap that I had gotten from Tuesday Morning a couple months ago when it first came out. And then I have a Bow Bunny stamp here. It's this one of leaves. And I stamped the leaves and heat embossed. For this card, I heat embossed them in copper. And then I used kind of the same technique. I watercolored them in different colors. I brought in some of the teal because it is in the stripes, and I just like that little pop. And then I fussy cut out the leaves, and underneath the tulle here are 2 of the leaves. And then there's this layer of tulle, which I bundled up at the bottom here with twine. And then there's 2 more leaves. And then this thanks word is actually cut out of watercolor paper, and I did 2 of them and just glued them together so they would have a little more thickness. And that's my card. So for the inside, for all of these cards, this one and the other one is the same, only different colors. I did the exact same inside. I just used inks in the same colors as the pattern paper and used the leaves and stamped them lightly on the corners. And then all the layering here and on the inside, I distressed with my Sizzix distressing tool and then inked with Vintage Photo Oxide ink, which is one of my very favorite inks. I use it all the time. So that was that card. And then the exact same design, but a little bit different papers. So I used the acorn paper here, and the specialty paper I used on this card was this. It's the oak wood grain. I love that paper. It's got such a deep embossing to it, and then it's slightly metallic, so it's just got some real shine that makes that embossing stand out. And then the leaves were done the exact same way, except I heat embossed them with gold. But other than that, the card is exactly the same, and it's the same on the inside. And like I said, for each of these ones, I actually did 4. And then while I was diving into my stash for supplies for fall, I came across these coffee cups that I made last fall. And here's one that I'm just sharing because I did stumble across it. I still have some of these leaves. I'll probably be using them on my projects. But my reminder that I realized when I found these was that sometimes when you dive into your stash, you can't find the pattern paper that you want. So for this card, this pattern paper that's on the cup, I actually created myself with my stamps. So the tiny stamps that were in one of my stamp sets, I just inked them up in different colors and random stamped them. And then I added these hearts and colored them white with a Prismacolor pencil, which colors beautifully on colored cardstock. And I created my own pattern paper with this because I just didn't have anything that was a small enough print that would make sense on this coffee cup. And that way I could use the same stamp as I used here, so everything tied together. And then the inside of this one says "Grabbed today by the beans," which I thought was super funny. So just as a reminder, you know, just because you don't have it in your stash doesn't mean you can't come up with something. Sometimes you just gotta think outside the box and use your other supplies. So that was just my reminder for today, and those are my projects for the week 1 of this collaboration, which was a card. Next week we'll be doing an altered object, which is one of my favorite things to do, so I can't wait to share that project with you. It is already completed, so don't forget to check out everyone down below. All their links, like I said, are there. There are 30 of us, so there's lots of inspiration to go around. And I would check out Instagram too, because I'm sure the same artists are sharing their projects over on Instagram as well. So thanks again, everybody, for stopping by. I hope you all have a wonderful day, and enjoy the rest of the collaboration. Thanks, Sabrina, so much for having me. I really appreciate it. All right. Bye-bye, you guys.